Yo, what's going on, guys? Jetxc here. I hope you guys have been doing good, and we've got a Snowbreak video. Now, I've definitely been streaming Snowbreak for a while now, so it's good to get back to a video, but I kind of want to make this video and talk about the new Plants vs. Zombie mode, or the Garden Mayhem. Now, this is something I've been looking forward to for quite a while. Just when I saw it, because I instantly recognized the type of game mode this would be. And I want to see how it would work within Snowbreak. And I really have to give a huge shout out to the devs of Snowbreak by always innovating with the different game modes that they come up with. I think some people may have different opinions on casual game modes versus more hardcore game modes, but I really do think the casual game modes are really popular and definitely give some life to the game for sure. So I appreciate this. Now, the Garden Mayhem, it's a pretty simple game. If you've never played, it's similar to like the game Plants vs. Zombie on a mobile phone. And I think it's probably on like console games at this point. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, so you've got your whole entire garden. And in that garden, you've got pepper, corn, broccoli, carrots, and you've got the pumpkin, right? And you're using all of these different types of plants to essentially win the game, right? And you've got the enemies that come in different types of waves, and you have mayhem coins, which really come in handy in the hard mode, but those mayhem coins will give you different buffs for your garden, right? So essentially, to keep it like really straightforward, you want to get your peppers planted as quickly as possible, and those peppers will give you like seeds, and you'll use those seeds or points, however you want to call it, to plant different things. So you'll plant like your corn, broccoli, and things like that. And each of these have different buffs, right? Like the broccoli is a type of plant that will enable you to strike aerial targets and targets on the ground as well. And then the corn has like a pretty good fire rate, and as you level these different types of plants up, they will come in handy more and more and more, right? And then, like, for example, the pumpkin kind of aggroes the enemy, and also protects things that are behind it because of the aggroing. But it says here, even for the pumpkin, a strong and dependable guard who constantly draws enemy attacks to protect allies. So you basically just have to have a format. And how I got through this whole thing was I completely had the back row filled with the peppers, right? And as I went through stage and then into the hard mode, I would level up those peppers, and then that was enough to provide me enough of a buff to basically win all of my games. I just had one back row of peppers, and then I used the mayhem coins to kind of get those buffs. And we'll kind of get into that in a second here, but you'll kind of figure things out through normal, and then when you get to hard mode, I think that's when you'll start to see somewhat of the challenge. Now with hard mode, honestly, it's pretty straightforward. You just want to have like a really interesting system, right? Because as long as you can beat it, that's all that matters. Now, there's going to be a record of like if you can 100% it, basically without any of the enemies getting past your entire garden and getting past the zone where that you'll actually like lose a point. You don't have to get that record 100%, but it's really easy to get it 100%. And I'm going to tell you my method, right? In some of the harder gardens, like 8, 9, 10. Again, really simple if you just like pay attention. But like I said, in the back row, you want to plant a lot of the tomatoes, or excuse me, not tomatoes, but the peppers. And then from there, one thing that I did was I would put a pumpkin like in the middle at the very front of the garden, and I would plant it, right? And the first like 2 waves, it's a bunch of like random chump enemies, and they take their entire time hitting on the pumpkin because they barely do any damage. If you guys have ever played like I guess this is kind of out of left field, but zombies from Call of Duty, you would leave this thing called a crawler, and a crawler would be like a zombie without any legs, and it would constantly hit on the pumpkin, or I guess you as the enemy, and it would take them forever to get to you or to get you down, right? So essentially, you leave that pumpkin in the middle, and as that enemy is hitting the pumpkin, it's only like 1, maybe 2. You can slowly build up your garden before more and more waves get difficult, right? So you can plant a whole back row, you can get yourself some corn, and the first 2 waves, you can use that method to build up your garden, and then by the time you're on like wave 3, 4, you can just plant a bunch of pumpkins and things like that, but you'll already see results already from planting those plants within like the first 2 waves and allowing that 1 or 2 enemies to just hit on your pumpkin. And don't kill it, right? Don't kill it. Like, just take your time, and then when you feel like you're ready, shoot it and you're good to go. I highly recommend doing this. And then obviously as the waves go by, use whatever character you want, Narita, Booba-chan, the trial characters, and just attack the enemies as early as possible, so that way your garden can get the time to get more seeds out. You know, you'll kind of keep the health and you can collect those coins, and then after that you'll start to really fill out your garden and level up each plant. Right now, I honestly do believe that whatever plant you decide to level up is completely up to you. The broccoli is pretty OP, so if you want to use the broccoli, you can. I personally like using the corn. I leveled up my corn. There's different enhancements as you go out through the game. There's like the popcorn shooter corn. There is the heavy carrot gunner. There's the boxer broccoli. And I would typically use, like I said, the corn, and then my preference was the heavy carrot gunner because it just did so much damage, even though it was expensive. But if you follow this method, you'll be able to do it, right? And yeah, you can kind of do whatever you want, and just make sure you're paying attention to the wave of enemies. Now, one thing that will definitely help you throughout this entire thing are the Mayhem coins, especially in the hard mode. Once you collect around like 400, literally just go to the kiosk and buy up the buffs, right? I would buy up the buffs for the corn. I would buy up the buffs that would reduce the cost of planting certain plants. I would also buy up the buffs that would give you like extra seeds, that would give you points that helps you plant the corn, the broccoli, the carrots, and things like that. And once you did that, honestly, you were good to go. You could level up all of your plants. You could level up the peppers that would give you more seeds, and you could kind of continue having this flow. And then when you're on like the second to last wave, you've got a bunch of OP you've got basically just an OP garden, right? You've got the heavy carrot gunner, and if you really can save up enough seed costs or pepper costs, right, you can get the rampage carrot gunner, which is one of my favorites. And yeah, it's pretty simple once you do that. Now, I would like to say there were some people when I was streaming last night that actually gave some pretty good advice. If you use Enya Tempest Cyrus, you can kind of cheese it, right? Obviously, if you have Enya Tempest Tornado and you've got everybody spinning in a circle, not even getting close to your garden, and Cyrus pushes everybody like a damn bulldozer. So there's a bunch of different ways to cheese this whole thing. But yeah, I really hope this kind of helps and gives you guys a whole idea. So again, kind of to summarize how I got through things, and you kind of see it here in the gameplay, but the whole back is just full of the pepper seeds, and then from there there's really no particular order, but I would say in the very front you want nothing but pumpkins, and then everything in between the peppers and the pumpkins is whatever you want it to be: carrots, broccoli, corn. But I would suggest broccoli. The broccoli is OP, but I'm someone that didn't use broccoli at all. I rarely used it. I just used that in the carrots, and I was able to complete it perfectly fine, right? And you know, we'll see what the challenge mode has to offer for this game when it comes out. It'll be coming out at the time of this video in like 3 days. So yeah, a pretty fun mode overall, though. I really did enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think of it. Hopefully we see more of it, and I don't know, we'll see what the community thinks after challenge mode, but I think we might see this mode come back more and more. So yeah, guys, that was it. But yeah, Garden Mayhem, pretty fun mode. I'll be back with another Snowbreak video pretty soon, so gotta go. Later.